So I started this once before. I don't think it really went live. Yep. I think now it's live. Excellent connection. Okay, so I guess I'll do this again. Oh, this is a good one. Here we go.
Soy Boy constantly stalks Kirshi, trying to everything that he can to cancel them. What is this here? What did she even say?
The fact that you can raise money for calling a 5-year-old the N-word is insane. Hope.
This is YouTube, right? Let me see. Yeah, this is YouTube. YouTube, if you give me any strikes for this, there's gonna be problems.
They shut down her campaign. They shouldn't. They didn't shut down Carmelo Anthony's campaign. So getting...
She's right. If you want, like, if they can do... Yeah, she's totally right.
Mad at this just outs you as, like, a very hypocritical person.
Well, it's not even hypocritical, because hypocritical implies it's a double standard. There's not even a double standard. You have one guy that's stabbing someone and killing them in the chest with the knife, and you have another girl that's saying a word.
It is so freaking crazy that this kind of stuff is like even a conversation now. I still can't get over that. I can't get over that this is even a conversation. I think this is all just ridiculous. I think this is like, I'm not saying that Asmongold watches too much news, but I'm just saying that, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just a guy on the internet. A lot of people, it kind of just seems like they see stuff on X, they see stuff on the internet, they see stuff on the news, and it just makes them angry. And, well, here we go. Here we are.
To begin with.
I don't know if I added anything to this conversation, but...
No, Kirshi's completely fucking right. Yes, there is no justification for taking down her Give Send Go, but not Carmelo Anthony's. Carmelo Anthony...
Well, that really just doesn't make any sense. They should just leave this up. I mean, if people are going to donate to it, they're going to donate to it. Same thing with Carmelo Anthony. If they're going to donate to him, they're going to donate to him.
This is 1,000 fucking times worse. It's not even comparable. It's infinitely worse. And so, yes, I don't even understand. And so this is her defending it? This isn't her defending it. This is common fucking sense. How does anybody not think this? The VTuber acknowledged most people don't support using racial slurs, but went on to compare Shadow Hendrix contracts about George Floyd. Bostonian guy, think it's okay to say a 5-word? No, I don't think most people think that's okay.
Well, what I think is about the slurs is it's still freedom of speech. As long as you're not like physically harming somebody, then it's fine. And as long as you're not like preventing somebody from getting a job, well,
Yes. She's right.
No racism, no hate. No racism, no hate. Unless it's against white people, I guess. Instead of donating to a trailer trash racist, you can donate to me instead. What?
Okay, all right. And so now the picture is complete. Now we understand what's really going on. All right. How are some people real? I don't know. Yeah, she just wanted that bag. That's what it is.
Little weasel.
That's what everybody wants on YouTube.
Weasel freak, actually.
True, absolutely.
How in the name of Baby Moses on Fire did we go from the loving society of the 90s to the fucking mess in 2025? That's some chutzpah. A lot of people are just like unfollowed. That's an unfollow for me. Bostonian guy said, "Oh no, what am I going to do without?"
Yeah, I don't remember you commenting on the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser. That's what I said too. I said this myself.
Followers.
Why aren't they Here's the reason why they're not writing articles about me like they are about Kirshi. Do you want to know the real reason why? It's because they know it won't matter. Like, they know that if they write an article about me being a racist, all that's going to get me is another 1 million view video on YouTube, and it's going to be called "I'm being canceled for being right," and or something like this,
A
right?
million views must be
And
nice.
it's
I've had a
it's
million
insane.
views
I'm being
before,
canceled for fighting
but
against
on almost
racism.
every single video must be nice.
So this is the reason why they do
I hope it
They-
happens to
they
me.
attack people like her because she's smaller. She can't defend herself in the same way that I can. And they're hoping to effectively bully gamer subs into like not sponsoring her. Now, this is the truth. You can never rely on a sponsor. You can never rely on any of these people to like actually give a shit about you. If you're a content creator, you should always focus on yourself. Never rely on sponsors because they will drop you the moment that things get rough. And so I'll listen to a little bit more about this, right? And then we'll move on. But I'll see if there's a timestamp 257. Okay.
Okay to call a 5-year-old the N-word. I don't think most people think it's okay.
Oh, okay. So that everybody knows that.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a lot of people who
I mean,
are
it's
tired
not,
of
but it's
things
not
happening
okay to call
like
anybody,
Daniel Penny.
something that's a
Like,
slur.
Daniel Penny, total fucking W. Absolutely. The guy was a fucking psycho that he killed. This guy attacked an unarmed woman multiple fucking times. The guy
Yeah.
that Daniel Penny choked out and killed. Guy was
It's freaking crazy that this is even a conversation anymore. That this is even, I don't know.
total fucking parasite. The only person who's in the wrong here isn't Daniel Penny. I don't even feel bad for the guy that got killed. Well, actually, I do feel bad for him. That's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
I mean, I do
I
too.
feel bad for him.
I mean, I don't wish that on anybody. I don't think anybody wishes, being unalived on anybody. But, if you FAFO, well, I mean, it's pretty clear what's going to happen.
Police should have put him in a fucking insane asylum. Really, I'm not even kidding you. The guy was fucking insane. How do you have 20 assaults? It's nuts.
Yeah,
The
that's
whole George
crazy.
Floyd incident and the Summer of Love.
Yeah.
Like the
I don't know why I'm partially attracted to this cartoon figure. I just am.
Carmelo
No
Anthony.
shame.
There's just a lot of people tired of the two-tier.
This is
justice
so
system,
distracting.
and they start saying some crazy things and doing.
That's exactly right. She is totally, absolutely, completely, unequivocally right. This is absolutely what people believe. And I understand that there are retards on Twitter that don't want to believe it, that don't want it to be real. They think
mean,
it
is
shouldn't
this
be real.
YouTube? I
They don't
didn't even
you should
think-
be able to
I've said stuff like this on YouTube, and I've gotten, strikes. Yeah, it's YouTube. I didn't think you could talk like this.
say it.
I don't even know
Fact
why you
is,
can't.
This is the way
Why
that
you
people
wouldn't be
think.
able to.
They think it is disgusting and absolutely ridiculous that a person is able to raise $500,000 after they kill somebody in cold blood in the middle of everybody else with a knife through the heart. This is some fucking Aztec Mayan sacrifice ritual shit. The guy raises $500,000, and then these people are
Yeah,
getting
I mean,
bent out of
look, when I
shape
was in
about
high school,
work.
we got in tussles too. I mean, when I was in track, we had separate spots where we all, hung out, and we were all pretty tribal. So if anybody came over there, well, I mean, I'm not saying that we're all like such fighters and stuff, but it probably would have been an issue. But nothing like this would have happened back then, and I can't believe I'm at the age now where I can say when I was a kid it wasn't like that, because my dad said that, my grandpa said that, my great grandpa said. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy how fast all this stuff progresses.
Get the fuck out of here. Burning down entire cities because one police officer that immediately got put in jail and put on trial, this guy somehow is like the reason why you're going to burn down an AutoZone? Get the fuck out of here. It's outrageous. And everybody can see this. By the way, every single person can see this. And this is the reason why it made so much money. It's because people are tired of walking around eggshells trying to tiptoe around lies. Kirshi is completely fucking right. 100%. And even if you don't agree with her and you think that that's not the way it should be, you should also acknowledge that it is the way it is. I don't care about what your opinion on how life should be. At least acknowledge what's in plain sight.
Yeah.
I think it's more in the tensions, and the George Floyd thing was
I
just the
agree.
tipping point. The fact, look at his history. But anyways, 0% chance. Yeah, I have no, I mean, the guy had such a massive, bold claim. Just look up his history as an officer before this. But anyway, it was an overdose. Don't care. That's not my point. are so afraid of other people finding out. I don't care what your opinion is. I only care what my opinion is. And so anyway,
Yeah, that could have
go
been
watch
taken
that.
out of context. This is what the mainstream media does. They'll just take little
Well,
clips
I
out of
watched the
context.
video. I don't want to hear about it.
Just saying.
My point is, and this is again beside it, because even if you think that the cop killed George Floyd in cold blood, right? Like you assume everything about it is true. He just straight up executed George Floyd right there. It shouldn't really make a difference, and you shouldn't go burn down a random building in another state, right? It's insane.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
completely
anyway,
true. And also the maneuver that the officer did, it was like taught. And Floyd, he was on the D word, before and during the confrontation. So
you're an organ of speech. You need someone with the facts that really affect people. Well, the facts are that I think this is the way that a lot of people feel about it. It
doing
is.
some crazy things.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it okay, but it's like
So this is what I think is so funny about it. So you can read this article that's written about her, and so I want you to look and listen to it.
they start saying some crazy things and doing some crazy things. Hello, Anthony. There's just people who are tired of things happening.
people need to calm down with these
Daniel
hit
Penny,
pieces and just
like
listen to the
Whole
entire
Foods,
conversation
like
before they
Summer
just
Love,
judge first.
Like the Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
There's just a lot of people tired of the two-tier justice system, and they start saying some crazy things and doing some crazy things. That doesn't make it okay, but it's like, that's just...
So she even says, that doesn't mean that it's okay that they're doing this. I'm just explaining this is why they're doing it. But this was intentionally cut out of context in this article, and the goal of it being intentionally cut out of context is
Baiting.
very clearly to make her look bad.
Yeah.
This is what happens. It goes back to the Michael Brand hands up, don't shoot lies. I don't remember about that. I'm just saying in general. People are tired, and that's where we are, unfortunately. That doesn't make it okay. Oh, here it is right here. Claims that people are tired of two-tier justice system and seem to insinuate that Shiloh Hendricks' usage of the N-word was just a consequence of where we're at now. It is. She's right. Everybody's getting mad at her for saying this, but the fact is that she's completely right. And people want to complain and get her canceled and try to make sponsors leave, etc. Here's what I think that a lot of these sponsors need to realize. A lot of the public is waking up to these obvious lies, and there are I think infinitely more people that agree with Kjersti
And that's why I'm doing this too. I used to really just not care, but then it just started getting really, really crazy.
Same take on this as well than the people that agree with these mentally ill freaks. And so if you start dropping people because they're inconvenient for a small subset of people that probably don't even like your food to begin with, they don't even like your product to begin with, they're just trying to bully you into, taking away a person's like financial ability to like
I turned the volume up.
You're going to have nobody supporting you, right? How would they know though? The companies? Well, the companies, I think that every company should try to make a decision based off of that, right? You do that a lot. You understand where people are coming from and why they did it, but people think you're defending them, which you're not. Yeah, understanding is not the same thing as defending. And so that's basically it. That's her. That's her. She really looks like she can be in Trump's cabinet. No, it's not even her. That's the woman. Yes. I don't know. That's obviously not okay, but yeah, so you can't even have, and this is the problem with these people, is that you can't even have a conversation about this kind of stuff at all with them, because the moment that you do, they instantly try to take what you say and turn it into something else. So yeah, so low IQ takes. Yeah, they're just fucking retards. And they're trying to attack people's, like sponsors and everything like this. I think that the best thing that a content creator can do is to move completely away from needing these like
Let me know if the volume's okay now.
continuous sponsorships because of just how risky they are. And the guy tried to imply that she's a Nazi because one of the retweets has a swastika in the book. Yeah, it's intentionally misinterpreted. It is. And I just see this happen, and I find it to be disappointing and very annoying, honestly, because I just, I think it's ridiculous. And I feel bad for people that get attacked like this and demonized whenever they're saying something that most people agree with. And I think if sponsors drop people like Kirshi because of this, they're going to realize that there are infinitely more people out there that support her than support some random fucking weird freak on Twitter that's trying to get her canceled. And that's the truth. So have they released the video footage of Carmelo yet? No, they haven't. They probably won't do that until the trial, and then the trial won't be public. We'll probably never see it, to be honest. So, yeah. Elon Twitter also moved away from advertiser sponsors because it's unsustainable. Well, the thing is that the problem, here's the issue that I have with advertisers. The issue that I have with advertisers, this is what I will continue to do. I think these people are absolute fucking parasites. They are awful people. And also, beyond everything, they are dishonest. They are lying and they are dishonest.
Yes, I agree.
And they're trying to force people into behavior. Concord put the fear of God in them? Yes, exactly. And so whenever any of these things happen and somebody loses a sponsor or they like support somebody like this, I think you should absolutely shit on them as much as you possibly can to make advertisers terrified of making these decisions again. And I think that if you do that, you can stop it from happening. Because keep in mind that the advertisers do not actually care about any of these social issues. They do not care about trans people. They do not care about non-binary people. They do not care about anybody except for money. That's it. And so that's really what I think in general should happen. And let's see here. Live service games are for bottom feeders. Maybe, right? For people who might take that as a context with the image in front of us. Well, my point is that any sort of cancel campaign that works, I think that we should actively try to make it as known as possible that the cancel campaign was a bad idea and the company should feel bad for doing it. That's the reason for capitulating to it. Advertisers care about money and the loss of it? Yeah. Careful, bro, cameras must drop you. I don't think I'm really involved with them anymore since I'm not an OTK, right? But, and also, like, this is just in general the way that I feel. But yes, put the fear.
We're gonna see what else he's got.
I mean, this isn't even the only thing that happened today. Like, apparently the Houthis surrendered, or they just at least agreed to stop attacking.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore.
That's
nice. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that. And we will.
They released an X post where they said that they were going to keep fighting.
Stop the bombings, and they have capitulated. But more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore, and that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. So. I think that's very, very positive.
That's great.
They were knocking out a lot of ships going, as you know, sailing beautifully down the...
I mean, this is what I said.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's see what Nuxenor's got.
What's up, my neighbors? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we are talking about how everything got a million times worse. So it all started a couple of days ago when a individual woman by the name of Shiloh Hendricks used a racial slur. She did. She called a black kid the N-word, which is a rude thing to do. Now, in context, the black kid was stealing from her, and this was being filmed by a registered pedophile. And
yeah, and I can't show this, but everybody on X just, you know, they think it was for no reason. I don't know.
The N-word, which, I mean, listen, personally, I don't think it's nice to call people racial slurs. And the entire internet freaked out. They started harassing her. They started threatening her life. She made a fundraiser, and she raised $500,000. Now, the reason why I'm giving you this context is because, for the record, Carmelo Anthony, a black guy, killed a white kid and raised $500,000 from supporters. The media was silent. No one had anything to say. Okay, classic move. It happens. Taking down white oppression. The white people, they're getting oppressed. And that's based and stuff. Shiloh Hendricks used a slur, which is words, by the way. Not violence, but words. Again, I don't think it's a nice thing to do, but it's words. She also raised $500,000. The media is losing their absolute mind. There is a racism problem in America. America's in trouble. America's cooked. Here's what Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, known for marrying her brother, had to say about this, the issue in America in regards to racism.
I would say our country should be more fearful.
More fearful
of white man.
Of
What?
white
I
men.
can't stand this lady. That's crazy.
That's the problem.
Our country
Agreed,
because they are
true.
actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
White men are causing most of the deaths within this country.
We have to look at per capita.
I mean, that's probably because there are more white men. I don't know.
Yeah,
no one's
yeah.
fucking statistics. you know, 13% of wizards are casting 50% of the black magic. Okay.
I mean,
let's see.
yeah.
don't
I
know.
like that. I like the way you put
What
that.
the fuck does that even mean?
We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating.
We shouldn't profile anybody. Just bad stuff just happens. If somebody looks sketchy, that's who you profile. That's it. I mean, sometimes, somebody who's not sketchy does something bad, but, you know, we live in a fallen world, so.
Policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
So she directly wants an apartheid United States where there are radical policing, monitoring policies introduced in
That's
the
so
government on a
crazy.
governmental
Wow.
level,
No.
specifically to target white people.
Ugh.
What?
First
What are
it was
we
the
even talking
Catholics.
about? The fact that this lady over here is an actual congresswoman is mind-boggling. She should absolutely go back to Somalia, where everyone is treated so much better.
I don't even know if I can
This
say that
is
on YouTube.
mind-blowing to me, and it is
Get the-
so
That's it. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'll fix that.
level.
There we go.
specifically to target white people. What? What are we even talking about? The fact that this lady over here is an actual congresswoman is mind-boggling. She should absolutely go back to Somalia, where everyone is treated so much better there. This is mind-blowing to me, and it is so frustrating that to see someone try to literally institutionalize racism into the country, and realistically, people aren't even really calling her out for this for some reason, even though I think this might be one of the biggest threats to basic anything I've ever seen in my life. She makes Trump look like he's anti-racist, for the record. Now, people are not taking this Shiloh Hendricks situation very well. Now, I made a video
No,
yesterday,
they're really not.
or 2
It is
days ago,
bad
right?
on X. I just
but it
got
was
kicked
uploaded
off again.
yesterday. As you can see here, white privilege is officially 100% over. So, on this video, I got obviously a lot of hate. You know, this went through the Twitterverse, all slur, which, by the way, let me reiterate, not a nice thing to do. All right, this was some of the backlash.
That lady, Shiloh Hendricks, whatever the fuck her name is, done called that little boy a nigga.
I don't know if I,
Like, how
no,
can you even
language.
remotely equate this? So when you have people that were going out on a limb supporting a black guy for murdering a white guy, and you're out here crashing out over a white lady after getting robbed, calling a black guy the N-word, I feel like not only are your priorities askew, but it will
Don't ban me, YouTube. I didn't know that that was gonna happen. But freedom of speech, so who cares?
radicalize America. Absolutely. And it's working. It worked on me. It worked on me after I saw the death threats and shit being sent. Just let me finish this video.
Thank God people reported it. Because people like her, they deserve a bullet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you're gonna say people like her deserve a bullet and post that on social media, in my opinion, that is an incitement to violence. And unlike saying the N-word,
ATF, are you watching? FBI, this dude. I'm sure you can find him.
that is not protected by freedom of speech. It is absolutely mind-boggling to me that these people feel like that what this guy did, in my opinion, is worse than what she did. You don't say inciting violence on people is absolutely worse than saying a racial slur. Again, not a nice thing to do.
Yeah,
but,
really,
like, I
because
don't even know
listen,
how you
listen,
could
listen.
possibly-
I mean, I don't want to talk so much, but if you say something and it's not physically hurting somebody, and if you're not preventing them from getting a job, then whatever, just, you know, let it go. But if they're physically harming you, then, you know, yeah, you can defend yourself, and then yeah, it's bad.
compare these two things, let alone Carmelo Anthony, the dude that stabbed someone. Or I'll give you another instance, Luigi Mangione. Everyone remembers him. He's the guy that shot the healthcare CEO. absolutely, allegedly murdered the healthcare CEO in broad daylight, he became a fucking hero of the Democratic Party, hero of the left. I'm sorry. I am sorry, bro. How are you going to have a fundraiser for killers constantly, supported vastly by the majority of left-leaning people, or at least the activist ones on Twitter, and make believe that this somehow is worse on a whole than any of that shit? I'm not gonna lie, it's very troubling to see how violence is more and more accepted and embraced by the left, and how their double standards keep getting worse and worse. And the fact that the media outrage is all focused on someone who, after getting robbed, said the N-word, and not literally the outpouring deluge of death threats against her, where they doxed her, they posted her social media, her social security number, her telephone number. They
Ooh, the
posted
social's
all of her
bad.
information
That's
online.
bad.
They harassed her, they threatened her. None of that was picked up. And instead, it's all picked up that everyone on the right wing is racist because they're supporting someone who said the N-word. Which, again, I personally did not donate money and wouldn't donate money because I have much better uses for my money. However, from an outside perspective looking at this, here's another classic bullshit example. Trump posts an AI image of himself dressed as the Pope. Everyone, oh my God, I can't believe Trump is disrespecting Christianity.
Yeah, Trump also
They do
said that he
this.
didn't do that, but it's just a joke. That's all it is. It was just a joke.
This is supposed to be Jesus, by the way, at this weird fucking orgy thing in France. And yep, that was accepted by the media. Hell yeah, LGBT orgies for Jesus. Yes,
And that's a
sir.
good point.
That's cool and based.
That's a really good point to make, because nobody said anything really about that.
That's not disrespecting Christianity. Trump posted an AI image. Oh my god! Oh my god! So currently, one of the major targets of this entire campaign is Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is a Daily Wire guy that made a video talking about this. That everyone told me I needed to react to this. I need to react to this Matt Walsh video, and we're about to do that. But Matt Walsh essentially said, I don't know, I didn't watch the video yet, but people are sick of the racial double standards. They're fed up, and it's that simple. And he is, in fact, correct. He's
Oh, thanks for liking the stream too,
Of
by
course,
the way.
social media doesn't like this idea. Currently they are blasting him to hell and back. You know, they're blasting him to hell and back, bro. Attacking this man because he's such a racist. He's supporting a lady that said the N-word, and he's racist and evil, and it doesn't. The right is officially supporting calling a black child the N-word. Like, first of all,
Yeah,
one
I
of
mean,
those
no,
wild
I mean, it's not really
misrepresentations of
that.
the situation. No one is supporting calling a black child the N-word.
Yeah.
People are supporting tearing down this white guilt bullshit double
Yeah,
standard.
exactly. That's what this is really all about. I mean, nobody wants to call anybody any dirty words, but you know what he said. I think he really, I think he hit it on the mark there.
Garbage. So, anywho, I thought it was important to put all this into perspective before we actually see Matt Walsh's video that has Twitter literally on fire. Everyone on Twitter is losing their shit, freaking out. I cannot believe that Matt Walsh is supporting saying the N-word. So anyway, I'm excited to lock in and see this. Apparently, this is a very controversial video. And apparently that, what can I say? I think it's a really interesting state as it stands right now in America, because in America, for some crazy reason, all 7 swing states recognize that these people are retarded. All right, let's see what's going on.
Saying the N-word to a child in a moment of anger is bad. Is it so bad that it warrants the total and permanent destruction of a person's life?
Absolutely not. Unlike
Exactly.
murdering someone.
Now, to the social media mob, the answer is always yes.
I mean, yeah, that's welcome to social media. Yep, that's the social media mob. That's them. Hell yeah. These people, the moral arbiters of justice. Oh my God.
By now, you may have heard the name Shiloh Hendricks.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep covering this story as things unfold, because the current deluge of death threats and hate towards her. Obviously, if you don't like her, I think that's valid. I don't think she's a very nice person. Personally.
I don't either.
That said, as far as the movement goes and the public discussion goes, fuck yeah, it is beyond time to have this conversation.
Until last week, no one outside of her friends and personal acquaintances knew she existed. Now she's at the center of one of the more intense social media controversies that we've seen in recent years. And it all began in the late afternoon on April 28th when the woman we now know as Shiloh Hendricks took her young child to a park in Rochester, Minnesota.
Yep, we covered this. We covered this. Oh my God, dude.
And at some point, a black child, reportedly 5 years old, tried to steal something from her diaper bag. Shiloh apparently responded in anger, and as the story goes, she called the boy the N-word. Now, a man named Sharmaki Omar,
the left's new hero. The left's new hero, a Somalian immigrant pedophile that was filming all of this. Woo!
Somali immigrant and not the boy's father, allegedly witnessed this altercation and decided to pull out his phone. And the resulting video has gone extremely viral across every major social media platform. Here it is.
You call him a child?
Dude, I love how this guy says the N-word like 5 times, asking her if she said the N-word. Like, dude, I don't know, man. I really feel like it's crazy, bro. It's wild.
Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a
Okay, got him, destroyed. Joan of Park.
Why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Damn, doubling down.
Okay.
I think people like the fact that she doubled down, to be honest. It's like, I'll be real. I'll be honest.
And look at her face, too. Look at her face. Look at her face. There's no regret. I mean, I'm not saying that's good, but...
It destroyed cancel culture. Cancel culture is in cinders.
I mean, she...
Just don't apologize for anything.
FAFO.
You survive on the internet right now. Goddamn.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's
Nobody digging through your
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a The little child?
What, he acts like one.
Are you about to hit him and chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call a child, 5-year-old, and the N-word.
Wait, hold on. So the reason why the news says that it's a 5-year-old is because this one random Somali pedophile said that the kid is 5? There's no way. That's crazy.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech.
You did a hate speech! Well, actually, she didn't, because she's in a little lovely place called America. Let's go! Again, I just want to make this clear. I don't, in fact, support calling random people racial slurs. I think it's not a nice thing to do. But hate speech doesn't exist in America, goddammit.
And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a
You could be recorded for that.
You can be recorded. That's funny.
Oh, maybe we should trust his experience that this kid is 5 years old because he has an experience with children. I did not think of it that way. You make very good points. This guy actually, he is a pro. It's too insane to be real.
And according to the local news channel KTTC, those charges were dismissed. A separate report by the local ABC affiliate adds that the charges were dismissed, quote, in the interest of justice, whatever the hell that means.
Oh my God. You've got to be shitting me. Bro, there is no way. Oh my God. Dude. That's crazy. In the interest of justice. I have a feeling that means that they're trying to hide the crimes of immigrants because for some reason, people are doing that now in America and in England and in Germany and in many other.
Threatening violence against her baby that you can see in the video. Here's one example.
What?
He said, hey, TikTok, I just got a real quick question. So we all know what happened with Shiloh Hendricks and how she got all this money, right?
Yeah, the money that she got was not because people necessarily even supported her saying the N-word. I think that the money that she got was literally to make a statement that the double standard in society has to end. It has to be over with. That for whatever reason, if you're from a specific minority group, you could get away with murder. Literally. But if you're a white guy, you need to sit there and wilt and melt in your little pool of white guilt, crying and lacerating your flesh to atone for the sins of your great-great-grandparents. Like, dude, it's not about the money. It's about the message. It's not even about Shiloh Hendrix individually as a person. It's about the social media.
You know, raise about $1 million. Go slap the hell out that baby.
Dude just hit the quiet part out loud.
Whoa!
He's like, we need to treat the baby like baby Hitler and incites violence to go assault a 2-year-old child. Yeah, he won't grow up racist that way. Yeah, let's beat up random white kids so they don't grow up racist. That'll fucking help. Woo! Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Make that baby brainless or something for a while.
This isn't even,
That's a horrible thing
I
to
don't even know
say.
what to say.
It
Oh
should
my
still get
gosh.
to live. I mean, it just might be a, you know. But hey, that's what happens when you grow up with racist ass parents.
What the fuck?
You gotta eat their consequences.
What the actual fuck did I just watch? This guy has to be retarded. What are we even talking about?
Now, I would say
I don't even know what to say. I feel like that guy, that one TikTok is infinitely worse than the lady calling the black kid the N-word. Not even close. Not even close. Not just is this like a sub 50 IQ guy that's gonna get his entire movement to look even dumber than it already is. But without even a doubt, this is incitement of violence against a baby. Like, actual incitement of violence against a baby. And if this is a mentality that other people have, all those people need to get looked into. I don't know, maybe Ilhan Omar, maybe you should look into that shit. Oh my god, what an unbelievable clown. I have never seen something like this before in my life. This guy is infinitely worse than Shiloh Hendrix. Not even close. Holy fuck.
You gotta eat their consequences.
Now, I would say that encouraging people to beat a baby unconscious is worse than saying a bad word to a child. A lot worse.
True.
And yet, there's no mob forming against that guy.
Obviously, there is no mob forming against that guy. That's not the point. That's not the point.
Or the dozens of other people who hit like on that video. So this is all unfolded as you would expect up to this point, leading to the predictable news that the Rochester Police Department is now actively investigating the woman.
What investigation is there? She didn't commit a crime. Again, I agree it was not a nice thing to do. I wouldn't do it. I would tell people not to do it, because in general, hurling slurs at people is not very nice. Listen, I am a man of God. I believe in being good to people and stuff, but like, this is retarded.
And others began calling for CPS to get involved and remove her child from the home. For example, there's a guy we'll put up on the screen who wrote a letter to CPS, which he published on his website, claiming again that Shiloh's a danger to her own child, and that
if there's no evidence to that. There's no evidence that she's a danger to her own child. I don't understand.
That's freaking nuts.
Okay.
Child should be taken out of the home.
Like, they want to ruin this child's whole life because the mom popped off when she was getting robbed. Like, this is crazy.
And pretty soon, with thousands upon thousands of people whipped into a pitchfork mob, she had been identified by name, but not just her name. Her phone number was posted all over the internet, her address, her social security number, her alleged places of employment. People were calling her phone and making death threats and then bragging about it openly.
Crazy.
Again,
that's insane.
So far this story is following the script that we
I wonder where we can find the videos of people like bragging about it openly, where they call her and send her the unaliving threats. If I can find those, I'm going to stream all of them, if I can. If they're too violent, then I'd have to bleep out a lot of it.
all know by heart. A random person is caught on camera doing something rude or offensive. The video is posted by some third party, usually somebody who wasn't even involved in the incident. And then thousands of sociopaths set out to destroy the person's life and possibly get them killed, all for sport, as a form of like sadistic entertainment.
I don't know if it's sadistic entertainment. I think it's no morals. I think it's a
I think it's being brainwashed.
somebody-
I think it's being brainwashed. These people are just freaking brainwashed. There's something wrong.
People do not have morals. They feel like it is justified because they're personally offended.
Yeah.
Damn.
They think it's justified, but it's like politically motivated because you have Maxine Waters and a couple other politicians. They'll go up on stage and they're literally telling people like to be mad, and they are getting mad. We're seeing the result of it.
putting me on the front page. I'm definitely making content that'll make Kick proud right now. Thank you, bro. Oh God, but these are definitely people with no morals that are just stirring up a mob to do something unbelievably disgusting. I think partially it might be entertainment. Partially it might be an entertainment thing. I think some of it is like some sort of disgusting, warped, perverted justice. And personally, I think that there is this very weird social upbringing that goes on in America that loves the victimhood mentality. They love it. It's like a neo-Marxist perspective on the world, that everything in the world needs to be divided between oppressed and oppressor. If you are on the oppressed side, then you are the good guy. If you are on the oppressor side, then you are the bad guy. And for some reason in America, especially on the far left and in like retard circles, they're like, if you are white, you are automatically an oppressor. If you are black, you are automatically oppressed. If you are oppressed,
Unless
you do is automatic.
Unless you support the right, then you're part of the oppressors. I'm not saying that. They said it. I have nothing to do with it.
Justified, and people don't want to live in a world where shit that stupid actually flies. So realistically, unfortunately, as much as people don't like to say it, I'm definitely entertained watching this competitive racist race war that's going on right now.
It's funny. It's a good time too.
Oh God, I firmly believe side. The culture needs to die.
Yes, that is, provided that the offending stranger fits certain parameters. And the most important parameter is that the person, the offender, is white. And we all know how this script ends. The offender, in a desperate attempt to call off the dogs, tearfully apologizes and begs for mercy, a mercy that they surely will not receive.
Yeah, that's why apologizing for stuff like this, unfortunately, in a just world, if you do something rude, you should apologize for it. But we don't live in a just world. We live in a world with a lot of retards in it. And that is why, unless you're absolutely certain you did something wrong and you truly regret it and were planning on changing your ways, you should not apologize. If she would have apologized, the story would be over. Everyone would call her a racist forever. No one would ever forgive her because forgiveness does not exist online. Nah, dude. They're out.
It really
for blood.
doesn't.
They're out for blood. So you gotta double down.
On the internet, they'll pull up something you did like 5 years ago.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's healthy or a good thing, but I mean, it's how you fight this despicable war.
But that is where the M. Night Shyamalan twist ending comes into play.
Oh my God!
Because Shiloh Hendrix did not apologize. And
God damn! I'm telling you, this is literally how you win. The way you win is just doubling down every time. It goes against every possible virtue, and you know what? It works. It works! Enough of this! Stop! Stop with the harassment. You are every single person harassing her right now and doxing her. Every single one of them is worse than she is. And that is the truth.
instead, she posted a crowdfunding campaign on GiveSendGo where she doubled down and defended her actions and asked for help to relocate and get her family to safety.
I mean, think about it. If she apologizes, they'll still call her a racist. If she doesn't apologize, well, then they're going to call her a racist. But she makes $500,000. And she kills cancel culture, which is based. She kills cancel culture. It is. I really feel like society is evolving.
And then a double twist. A different group formed to counter the outrage mob. They started donating to her campaign, and she surpassed her original funding goal in less than a day. Within 3 days, she had earned over $500,000. Now she's somewhere north of $600,000.
God damn!
Yeah,
so
that's
the woman who was
crazy.
supposed to have her life ruined by the mob is instead on her way to potentially becoming a millionaire. Now, this twist, as you can imagine, has outraged the outrage mob even more, but
Oh, yeah.
a large number
Oh,
of
yeah.
prominent people on the right are also horrified by this turn of events. Just as one
True.
example, Colin Wright tweeted, "The woke right is now mirroring the woke left's tendency to glorify and martyr immoral degenerates solely based on shared racial identity."
This is such an amazing story. I love content. Thank you, God, for this content. Thank you, God, for the N-word.
I don't know about
but you
that.
know
I
what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
about that. Oh. Shout out to Nixonor.
Dude, this is crazy.
This woke one-upmanship is a race to the very bottom.
Reciprocal violence.
Many conservative influencers and
It's a reciprocal tariff. I love the word reciprocal. Oh my God.
commentators, many of them who I like and respect, have echoed this sentiment. They say,
I just want to make this clear, by the way. If you have a different perspective than me on things, I don't mind at all. You have every right to disagree with me on literally anything. And
Yeah.
I think that it is bad that she called the kid the N-word. I do think that is a bad thing to do because in
Everybody
general,
thinks
I
it
don't
is.
think you should just be
Everybody
taught.
thinks it's bad. Just like when Asmongold said that everybody thinks that January 6th was bad. I mean, did some people deserve to be freed? Yeah. But did some people do bad things? Yeah. I mean,
Calling racial slurs to people, it's pretty rude. That said and done, incredibly hot take. All of the fucking retards trying to cancel her, every single one individually that harassed her, sent death threats, incited violence, doxed her, showed up at her house, called her phone, those people were all worse. All of those people, worse.
say that, the people donating to this woman are behaving no better than the left. They say that this is the right's version of the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser. That all
It is not even remotely.
it's nowhere near
similar
it.
to the
It's
Carmelo
nowhere
Anthony
near it.
fundraiser. The Carmelo Anthony fundraiser was for fundraising for a guy that murdered someone.
Yeah, there's a difference between somebody who's unalived and somebody who just has a slur.
It is not even remotely similar. And also, important to note, that one happened first. Like, I think the genesis is it's so valuable as far as part of the conversation goes. Like, you gotta realize that so much of this is, it's retaliatory in a sense. People don't like the fact that people feel like they're living in a two-tier system in America. They don't. They don't like it. All right? They don't. That's why DEI was so cringe. I was doing my Uncle Ruckus cosplay there for a second.
also raised $500,000, even though he stabbed somebody to death, which I hope we can agree is far, far worse than saying a bad word. Some have even speculated that this whole thing is some kind of psyop meant to delegitimize the movement and make
Nah, I don't think so.
conservatives look racist.
There's retaliatory raises. What the fuck is happening? Oh God, so entertaining. Holy shit. It's awful and hilarious at the same time.
To that, I must assure them, despite
That neighbor is guilty.
how it may seem that not everything is a psyop, there are things that really just happen in life.
True.
Some things do just happen, and I think this is one of them. Now, I understand that some people on my side feel, to put it scientifically, icky about this whole thing.
Well, I mean, I think anyone supporting her saying the N-word is a retard. But I do think that the people kind of liking the fact that there is pushback to the cancel mob, racial double standard bullshit, I respect that immensely.
I understand why they feel
Uncle Nuxus, no relation.
icky. I understand why they don't want to condone saying racial slurs to children. I don't want to condone it either.
True.
And I don't. And nobody really does. But
True. That's why I don't even say the fuck word.
I think they're missing the point. In the past, most people enjoyed genuine privacy. What changed?
Well, what
Use
changed?
that code consciously happen.
Ilhan Omar happened.
/ Matt Walsh Show.
All right.
I don't think they understand what's actually happening here or why. It is, in the end, a net positive that this woman has raised $500,000.
Wow, that's a crazy take. That's a wild take.
That's an extreme
to be honest,
take.
she probably
That's
does
funny.
have the money at this point. There are people harassing her, doxing her. She's probably gonna have to move. To be honest, she probably will have to move. So I do think that this is crazy. God damn.
I'm glad she has. I hope she raises $1 million.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Lord, that's crazy. Oh man, this is S tier entertainment. What, everyone told me I should go watch what's it called, Thunderbolt, the new Avengers. Come on, bro. This is what I'm talking about.
I will not be joining with some of my conservative friends in wagging my finger at her donors, and I'll explain why.
I personally think there's better things you could donate to. If you're really looking to donate money, I personally think there are better things to donate to. I donate a lot of money in general, personally. However, I do not donate money. I do not donate money to her, and I probably won't. But that's just my opinion. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with your money. God gave you that money to do with it what you will. All right? I'm just saying.
First of all, she does have a legitimate need for the money. The mob is truly trying to get her killed. I don't believe that a woman should have her life threatened for...
No, I do agree that. I do agree with that. That is true. I do completely agree with that. She probably will need to move. She probably does need the money right now.
Saying a word, even a bad one. And you could say freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences for your speech, all you want. But if losing your livelihood and having your house burned down is a consequence of your speech, then you do not have free speech. Supporting free speech means...
It's like saying you have free speech, we're going to put you in jail if we don't like
your
your
speech. Yeah, free speech with consequences.
The same idea. It's like, of course you have free speech in England. But if you say something Islamophobic, we will imprison you. You could say it. You just might end up in jail. Hell yeah, freedom of speech. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Supporting someone's ability to speak without having their family murdered for it.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I mean, that should be pretty obvious.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Second, more importantly, and this is the part that I really need everyone to stop and think about. This is the most devastating attack on cancel culture
100%.
that we have seen.
I actually agree with this completely. So when cancel culture comes for like me, for example, because that's happened a couple of times, you get people swarming comments saying he's a racist, he's evil, he makes jokes, stuff like that. When that happens, I'm still here. I still have a community. I think I'm a pretty good guy, all things considered. Don't wanna pat myself on the back, all right, too much or anything. I'm a pretty good guy, and I think my audience knows that. And I actually still have a career. I'm pretty much more successful than ever on YouTube, thank God. And with all that said and done, ironically, and that makes sense. So when I see a YouTuber or whatever with an audience surviving cancel culture, I think that that's pretty normal. If you just stay true to your values, you'll get through it. No matter what cancel mob comes for you. Unless you're like, a pedophile or some shit.
Yeah, that's the only exemption.
But when it comes to just a random person on a viral pop-off moment, for the most part, when they get canceled, their life becomes detrimentally worse. I've never seen it before that a random person that went viral for one of those let's make them famous moments, trying to cancel them and harass them. I've never seen a net positive happen for that person. And this is the first instance of that I've seen, and that's why I find it so fascinating. Because realistically, this is a turning point in society. People don't like the...
You wish that Shiloh had said or done something that we could affirmatively defend. That would be much easier.
True.
Nobody
Valid.
wants to affirmatively defend cussing out a 5-year-old.
Agreed.
Even though I don't think the kid's actually 5. But
I don't support cussing out a 10-year-old either, in case you care.
None of that is the point. The point is that the only way to put an end to this routine, the routine where the outrage mob mobilizes and assembles to destroy somebody's life, is to disincentivize the routine. And the only way to disincentivize that behavior is to reward the person who's being targeted. Now, we can complain all we want about the mob.
He makes a good point. He makes a good point. Yeah. I don't look at the people donating money to Shiloh's campaign as people donating money to support someone that said the N-word. I look at it as donating money to someone who's being harassed by a gigantic mob of people. That's kind of how I see it.
Mob tactics and how they silence and punish people and exact vengeance in wildly disproportionate ways. We can condemn it. We can write think pieces about it. We can deliver monologues. None of that matters. None of that will stop them. The only thing that can stop them, the only thing that will make them think twice about doing this again, is if they know that instead of getting their target canceled, they might accidentally make them rich. And more,
yeah, strike fear in the hearts of the retards. Make retards again. I support that.
More important even than the money, they must know that
it's not about the money. It's about sending the message.
Attempt to isolate and ostracize somebody will fail. That for every person condemning the targeted person, 2 more will rally to their defense.
Damn.
The motto of the cancel mob for a
I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. I understand why Twitter is freaking out about this Matt Walsh video. I do. I've never even, you don't even understand, I never even really watched Matt Walsh before, but damn, I see why people are really pissed about this. I really do.
I wish I could take you to Twitter, but I'm banned. But it's like the apocalypse on there right now.
Oh my god. They're pissed at him because he's spitting. They're pissed at him because he is spitting right now. Holy shit. I wouldn't have gone so far as to say that I hope she raises millions of dollars and everyone should donate to her. And, you know, does he link your GoFundMe in the description? That would be crazy. That would be insane. Okay, no, that would have been wild. But, like, I get it, bro.
Long time has always been, make this person famous. And a lot of them were saying that about Shiloh. Let's make her famous. Now, the assumption is that the fame will have an exclusively negative effect on the person's life. Making them famous means making them unsafe, making them bankrupt, making them persona non grata. With this case, that assumption has been flipped on its head. Because now the mob knows that making them famous might help them more than hurt them.
Holy
Rather
shit.
than the fame being punished, it's rewarded.
I do think that's a part of it, for sure. I do think that's a part of it. I think cancel culture is growing so much. I think before Trump became president, for example, a lot of people were pushing back on, like, you know, woke shit in video games. And slowly but surely, everything that made culture toxic is going to have a counterculture to destroy it. Who do you like better, Shiloh or the Hawk Tuah girl? Shiloh. Not even close.
Yeah, I like Shiloh too.
Stand up for your morals. You got to stand up for your virtues. You have. It's a race war in the making. You know what I'm saying?
Mob justice worked out really well for the mob nearly every time for the next decade and a half. Now that's finally changed.
True.
And you don't have to like.
I think it was Carmelo Anthony, to be honest. I really think that was the moment where people realized that nah, enough. I said that when the Carmelo Anthony stabbing happened. When he stabbed the kid, the white guy, and got support with a donation, a fundraiser, made $500,000, and then the judge let him out of prison on bail, when the judge would not have done that for a white guy. When that happened, I said that was the moment the facade of white privilege died. I have said that literally. And I think I'm right, to be honest. I think I am correct. I think that was the turn in the road. I really do. I think this is a clear example of the pushback on that. They're supporting a white person for saying words that got her life destroyed for it. And they supported someone that murdered someone. And I think that contrast is just, it's so blatant and obvious. And the fact that the media obviously cares so much about someone that said the N-word, then cares about that people supported someone that murdered somebody. Like, I think when you see that in context, it is fucked up.
Take Shiloh or agree with her choice of words to see that. Speaking of her choice of words, there is another point that I think has to be made here.
Oh God, we're going down the N-word debate. Is it happening? All right, we have an N-word debate every 2 years. Is it our 2025 N-word debate? Is that happening? Oh shit. Some sort of massive society shift. It is happening when a black kid gets rewarded for stabbing a white kid in the heart. And I feel like that happens every single time.
Murdering Austin Metcalf. They rewarded him financially for it. And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person.
And by the way, I don't think most people think that. I think that this is, I'll use a hypothetical. I think 90% of people, all right, I'm making this number up, but I think 90% of people on the left do not support Carmelo Anthony stabbing a white kid in the heart. They don't. Of course not. It's insane. It's ridiculous. But I do think the 10% that are supporting Carmelo Anthony are fucking loud. Those are the motherfuckers with the megaphone. All right? And realistically, social media is decided by the loudest voice.
In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards. The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds.
God damn.
People are fed up with it.
I think he's right.
That's what you're seeing in this story. People are
Yikes.
just fed up with it. Now, that child, if he's like the average black child in this country, did not hear the N-word for the first time from a white woman at the park last week.
God. True. I mean, true. We claimed that word. Yep.
Okay? He's
Yep.
no doubt heard it thousands of times.
Man, my favorite thing is when you say, "Hey, can white people say the N-word?" And then people are like, "No, of course not." Can black people say the N-word? Yes, of course they can. So it's like, so you're saying that black people have more rights than white people? And it's like, no, black people are victims, obviously. Oh my God, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. This is fucking crazy.
He likely hears it every day. He probably...
Like, I understand that a word used, like, I'll give you another example, though. A word that's used to convey hate against a race is obviously going to be very different than a used word in intellectual context, for example. Like, it's used in a context of endearment sometimes, and I feel like that is not as vitriolic as using it in a context of belittlement. I think that is, I think that's an important differentiation, though.
Probably hears it in his own home.
True.
Are we supposed to believe that he's heard the word 1,000 times, but it's time 1,001 that really traumatized him?
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, the idea that the word is a common greeting for one race, but unspeakably evil.
You're calling rap intellectual? No, I mean like when it's used in like Huckleberry Finn or in novels or as a quote and stuff like that. Stuff like that is obviously not used in an offensive way. Obviously. And I personally think that offending people in general is not a very nice thing to do. Now, I'm going to call people like Frogan a fat piece of shit, which is offensive, but that's because she has earned that title of being called a fat piece of shit.
If uttered by a different race, is laughably ridiculous. The idea that one race can say the word 10,000 times a day and the other race cannot speak the syllables under any circumstance, even if they're just repeating what someone else said or singing along to a rap song.
Yeah, when it says a quote, or when it says a quote, or when it's in an intellectual way, or it's singing along to a song, and people get really upset about stuff like that. Like that is like that's a Lord Voldemort kind of thing.
That idea again is totally indefensible, which is why no one has ever tried to defend it. Instead, it's just yet another, racial rule of the road that we're supposed to follow without ever asking any questions about it or expecting anyone to explain it or justify it. People are sick of that. It's just that simple. They are sick of it. Now, it is simple. If it's wrong to say the word, then it's wrong for anyone to say it. If black people want white people to not say the word, then they need to not say it.
Damn, I see why Twitter was upset with this one.
If you say
I
it,
do.
Everyone else can say it. Point blank, it's that simple.
Oh,
that's how life works.
All right, that's why Twitter was
with
upset. Yep, I figured it out.
Yeah, that's how life in America works. That's how life in America works.
Well, no, we can do this thing, but you can't. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Well, it did work that way for a long time. It was indefensible, and it's just not going to work that way anymore. Sorry. And no matter who is saying it, it's not...
Equality just knocked on the door and wants your phone number. Holy shit. As an advocate of gender equality, we should be able to drop kick women when they're acting like assholes. I firmly stand by equality. Equality. Oh, God.
Any worse than any other slur or vulgarity. It's not special. The word is not magical. It's not some kind of mystical curse. It's not some kind of dark incantation that conjures evil spirits from the netherworld. It's just a word. It's a vulgar word. It's a rude word. It's a word that I believe polite people shouldn't say for the same reason they shouldn't use any other vulgarity. I'm using N-word right now instead of saying the actual word for the same reason that I would say F-word or C-word instead of those actual words. Those are vulgar words, but that's all. The reflexive, indefensible...
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is... insulting people in general is something that I think is not very nice to do. Insulting people or humiliating the people or embarrassing people or thrashing, harassing people, things like that are obviously not nice things to do. When I do it, because I know that people are obviously going to say, but Nux, you make fun of retards all the time. Absolutely, I do, of course. When they put the clown makeup on themselves, of course you have to call them clowns. You have to make retards again. This is the mantra. I fully support making retards again. However, they got to earn that title. Right? They gotta earn the title of retard before you call them a retard. Absolutely.
Capricious, vacillating racial double standards are over. People are fed up with them. They are fed up with the game and they don't want to play it anymore. And that's all that this word has become. That's all that our quote unquote race relations have become. A game. A game with arbitrary rules and incredibly excessive punishments for anyone who breaks them. It's like the societal equivalent of a child, trying to walk on the sidewalk without stepping on a crack. Eventually, the kid gets bored with it, starts walking normally again, because it turns out that if you step on a crack, you're not really going to break your mother's back. The rules are fake. And eventually, people get tired of following them. Telling white people, and white people only, that they can't combine two specific syllables under any circumstance, it's like telling them they can't touch their head unless someone says Simon Says. Okay? They're not going to play the game forever.
Yeah, people are really fed up with this this whole thing. Like, again, I think partially you don't want to offend people. Partially you don't want to just get involved and embarrass or stop. You can be proud of who you are, no matter who you are. Like, you could stop. And it's over.
None of
it's
it
actually
is
ending.
fair or morally coherent.
It's ending.
And the Carmelo Anthony case, where a black teen raked in $500,000 as a reward for stabbing a white kid to death, was, for a lot of people, the final straw.
That's what I said. That is exactly what I said. Absolutely. I think that was the zenith. That was the end. That was when people said, you know what? No more even making believe white privilege is a thing.
The final straw of many, many straws. It is no surprise that the Shiloh Hendricks case comes on the heels of that. A lot of people online are fretting that this is the beginning of some kind of race war. But I don't think it's a race war, and it's certainly not the beginning.
I don't think it's a race war either, to be honest. I really think it's more of a culture war. The current culture of society, is really rough. It's difficult. It really is difficult. It's difficult when society will blast you and attack you and insult and assault you for, all that sort of shit. Now, again, I am not racist at all. Actually, I am very, very much. I'm one of the least racist people of all time. That doesn't mean statistics aren't a real thing. That doesn't mean that you're going to have bad people in every group. Because absolutely, obviously you are. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have wonderful, fantastic, incredible people in every group, because you have that too, obviously. But it's just a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective. When you say, hey dude, hey guys, hey everybody, saying the N-word is tantamount to murder. That's insane. That's crazy. Ruining someone's life because they said a word which they should not have said, and I've said this entire time. She shouldn't have called the kid the N-word. But stop, bro.
I mean, there's been a war waged on whiteness for a long time in this country. So this cannot be the beginning of anything. But it may be the end of something.
Oh, shit.
The end of racial double standards. The end of cancel culture.
I don't know if it's the end, but it's definitely a pushback for sure.
This is an ugly story in a lot of ways. But if history has shown us anything, it's that ugly things die ugly deaths. If you like,
yeah, I agree. That's crazy. This is another guy that I like. He goes in the war zones and stuff. He works for like CBN or contracts with them. He's an independent journalist. He's a really good guy.
Hey everybody, Chuck Holton here, coming to you from the Business Lounge in Athens, Greece today on my layover, heading back home to the States to see my daughter graduate from college. But, well, let's talk about what's going on today. It's official. We've apparently ended the Red Sea conflict with a classic American strategy. Just announced that it's over. President Trump says the Houthis called it quits and that we decided to stop bombing them post-haste. Problem solved, right? Well, sure, except for the Houthis didn't actually say they were done. In fact, several senior leaders flat out denied any ceasefire agreement.
They did on X.
And one even accused Trump of, quote, lying as he breathes. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So maybe mission accomplished is a little premature, just a little. But before we go any further, I got to give you a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, American Finance.
And the stress that comes are saving. That's 8 cushion in times like.
So, without much preamble, that the Houthis had capitulated. Here's the clip of what he said.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that. And we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore. And that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. So I think that's very, very positive. They were knocking out a lot of ships going, as you know, sailing beautifully down the various seas. It wasn't just the canal. It was a lot of other places. And I will accept their word, and we are going to stop the bombing of the Houthis, effective immediately.
Effective immediately, which is interesting because Israeli fighter jets were at that moment still in the air, returning from destroying the airport at Sana'a. And U.S. strikes reportedly continued for several hours after that announcement. So maybe not immediately, but just immediately. Then just hours later, the Houthis dropped this very slickly produced propaganda video, which probably took them a long time to do with Sony Vegas or some TV editing software. But you know, when you look at this, what you realize is that they dropped this just hours after that announcement was made, which means they had been editing this video together long before the announcement was made in preparation for a declaration of victory. Listen to it.
The American failed to achieve its goals from the aggression. It could not weaken the capabilities nor end them. It could not stop the operations. The sea is close to the Israeli enemy and to the American as well. Nor could it break the will and morale of our dear people. This is the most important aspect of all.
So they titled their video "The American Failure," complete with dramatic ending and music, and which I had to cut out, or else it would have demonetized us here on YouTube. But they're proclaiming that the sea is still closed to Israeli and American shipping. It doesn't sound like a peace deal, really, to me. It sounds more like a marketing campaign. In fact, multiple senior Houthi leaders have since taken to their own media outlets to say there was no ceasefire, or at least not one they agreed to. Some said they'd stop shooting at Americans if we stopped shooting at them. Well, the question is, who started it, right? The Houthis weren't getting shot at until they started shooting missiles at Israel. And so there's that. Well, other Houthi spokespeople have continued to vow support for Gaza and to continue attacks on Israel. One official, his name is Rashad Al-Hami, is an officer in the Houthi armed forces, and he put it in especially blunt terms. He said, quote, "Trump lies as he breathes. The Yemeni people and their armed forces are eager to confront the American, Israeli, and British mercenaries because the people of the free region have no choice but to wage jihad and confront the greatest tyrant, America and Israel." That's two tyrants, in defense of Palestine. Well, what Trump said is a lie and can be refuted because the Yemeni people's battle is a battle of action and confrontation. And there's no compromise in the mind of even the smallest Yemeni fighter, despite the temptations of the Americans have placed before Yemen. Well, that doesn't sound like a capitulation to me. Another senior official, his name is Nasser al-Amari, put their stance this way. The enemy focused its attacks on fuel tanks. This is the United States and Israel he's talking about, and power plants and cement factories with the aim of igniting fires and creating smoke plumes to create a different picture from the ones painted by the Yemeni operation after striking at the...
Yeah, so that's pretty much all from this video, but all these conflicts are clearly not over. Ah, what is that?
Please clear the street.
Shut the f*** up!
Protest on the sidewalk. Get the police! These officers. If you remain
Death to the police. Guys, this is insane. So, University of Washington was set on fire while pro-Hamas students chanted death to the police. What? And this is in Seattle. But how is this happening in America?
Because of policies, democratic policies.
I actually think that, like, for this kind of stuff, I think it's really important that they are just, like, hyper aggressive about this and they just totally shut it down. Like, I mean, you can't, I mean, this is third world country stuff. Like, you're making blockades of random things and setting them on fire. Really, this is third world country behavior. There's no reason to deal with this at all. There's no reason to put up with this even for a second. It's a violent act. Yeah, it is. Indoctrination from terrorists. It sucks that some of those beautiful places in the country, West Coast, have been turned into terrible places to live with their laws and crimes. I would have loved to live in Seattle or Portland, but they're just trash places because of the people and the governments. I think that the reason why, in a way that makes them feel good, work is the same thing, right? Also the largest wealth gaps? Yeah, and that's the reason why you have this happen. I think it is. I could be wrong. Antifa protesters occupied the brand new engineering building to protest Israel. They lit dumpster fires, created blockades, and chanted death to the police. See, like, I just don't see how this happens. Like, in my opinion, like, I'm very much of the mindset that, like, I have no problem with people that are protesting and, like, you know, they're just protesting. But, like, if you're obstructing people's movement in a public place, you are, in my opinion, I think, committing an act of violence. And I think the police should just arrest all of them. And I think that, like, I mean, what they could do, like, if I was the police, this is what I would do. I would probably do a eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and every fifth person gets charged, like, with an insane thing. Just make it completely random and totally, like, you know, just indiscriminate. And do that a few times, and then people stop doing it. It's pretty simple. Why not all of them? It'd just be too much paperwork and too much effort. That's really the reason. You're also damaging public property? Yeah, no, for sure. For a protest? This isn't a protest. Like, when you're lighting things on fire and you're obstructing people's movement, like, this isn't protesting. Yeah, this is terrorism. Like, I like, it doesn't matter. The judges would let them go. Just put them up in federal charges so it doesn't matter. Here's a copy of pro-Hamas chant this evening. Down with the Iron Dome. Oh, man. I feel like some of these, blood money in your bank account, a child's life was worth no amount. Oh, boy. Yeah, they're LARPing. Looks fake. Yeah, it could be fake. You're right about that. Kind of engaging in negotiations with protesters. UW sent in dozens of cops in riot gear to brutalize students.
Why would you
Huge
negotiate
fucking
with them?
W. Massive fucking W. Exactly how you should handle it. There is no, you should not give even the slightest amount of leniency or, you know, like, weakness into this at all. Just
Yeah, absolutely. No negotiations.
Yeah, you do not negotiate with terrorists. They were, in fact, defeated. But you know,
They're gonna get reinforcements.
yeah, they got arrested and they brought in a bunch of other people and that was about it. But like, yeah. Why are these demonstrations only in the USA? In Poland, we have close to 2 million immigrants from Ukraine to war, and not a single dumb shit like this is happening here. The reason why it's happening a lot in the US, so one of the big reasons why is because the US funds Israel in a way that a lot of other countries don't. And so that's the reason why you have a lot of protests in America, is because people feel like they're more connected to the problem. That's the reason, right? I mean, wrong, there's a lot in EU too. I mean, US law allows it. Yeah, and there's also the US law that allows it. What is this?
Breaking news coming out of Seattle, where dozens of demonstrators against the war in Gaza took over a building at the University of Washington last night. They also blocked streets and set fire to dumpsters. Now, this is the most visible protest of its kind so far this spring, following dozens of protests on campuses a year ago. Police arrested more than 24 people.
Not
Among
enough.
other things, demonstrators demanded the school break its ties to the Boeing Corporation because of its military contracts. Breaking news coming out.
Yep. And so so far this spring, no, it's easy to solve this problem. Very, very easy.
Left, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same.
The Seattle Police Department is like the KKK. I guarantee you it's a bunch of white people chanting this. Like, absolutely 100% chance.
Left, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same. SPD,
The usual
KKK,
suspect, yeah.
IOF, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see if there's any more of them. UW would rather set riot cops on their own students than negotiate peacefully. These people don't want a negotiation. This isn't even what they're looking for. They're looking for, they're trying to bully them into doing something. And also, like, the entire premise of a negotiation, like, the university isn't accountable to these people. Like for example, a private company is not accountable to random citizens. So a private company can act in the way that it wants, and random citizens cannot demand accountability directly from that company. Now, they can lobby the government to demand accountability. Of course they can. But to demand it directly themselves, they can't. Yeah, idiot troll comment? Yeah. Well, yeah, they send in cops with riot gear to deal with rioters. What's odd about that? Yeah, I know. Isn't that a shock? But, yeah, well, there we go. And, wow. God damn. Law enforcement officers have breached the mechanical engineering building. What a surprise. I'm so glad this kind of stuff isn't as popular as it used to be. And now it's just that the government, because, like, you've got to keep in mind, this is in Seattle. And so, like, if they're being this aggressive with it, the probability that any of these protests go anywhere for, like, the indefinite future is basically zero. Like, isn't Seattle where Chaz was whenever they created that, like, you know, that place where, like, the police weren't allowed to go in during COVID? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. And so, like, this is, like, ground zero for retardation. So if even here you have common sense, yeah, this is cooked. I think people in general have just been completely fed up with this. Need a timeout? Yeah. You got a Karen crashing out in the background. Yep, turning the lights on. There you go. These people have gone too far? Oh yeah, they definitely have.
Well, look, I mean, only in the past 5 years, or arguably 6 years, could you, like, riot and burn stuff down, and then when you're finally, like, caught and, you know, you're arrested, then you can complain. Only now did that ever happen.
I think that protesting and like, you know, being okay, you know, or like trying to like, you know, raise advocacy is okay. But like whenever you're lighting things on fire, like, what are you doing? How is this called a protest? It's obviously not. It's a riot. It is. Like, again, like you're literally lighting shit on fire and destroying property. Yep, there we go. See, what they need to do, though, like, I think this
What
is
they should have
great.
done is, in my opinion, immediately, whenever you start seeing stuff like this, like blockades and fires, like National Guard, like call somebody in and handle this problem. We don't live in a third world country. We live in a civilized civilization. So if people can't act like it, then, you know, clearly the people who can't act like we live in a civil world, then they clearly belong in places that house people that agree.
But what I think that they need to
Jail.
do a lot more of is they really need to start arresting these people.
Exactly. Start arresting
they
them.
need to start
Arresting.
arresting them.
So Trump wants to bring back Alcatraz. Arrest them and put them in freaking Alcatraz.
And
There's
like,
a solution.
really charging them with things that are like very extreme in order to make other people stop doing it. And
Well, charge
deport
them with
them.
terrorism.
Yeah, I mean, no. By the way, if any of these people are not citizens, I think they should be immediately deported instantaneously. If you are participating in riots and things where you're lighting things on fire, we already have enough crackheads in our country to begin
Yeah,
with.
exactly. We
don't
do.
need to
So
import-
yeah, be warned. Be warned. If you're not a legal citizen, then if you're engaging in shenanigans like this, then yes, you really should be sent back to your country of origin.
New crackheads. Would never happen. Never say never. Charge them with terrorism, simple as that. Sure.
Oh, and also here pretty soon, this isn't really tongue twister, relevant to any of this or, you know, the end times, but here pretty soon I'm going to be trying to do a speed run on Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm gonna start by speed running the first 3 chapters, and we'll see how long it takes, and then I'll do a video where I speed run the entire campaign, unofficially to go after the world record. I'm not saying I'm the best Red Dead Redemption 2 player, but something to do.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see this. This is great. Yeah, they're just totally shutting it down. No bullshit, etc. If you're not a citizen, it's not your fucking business anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. What he just said from one of his comments. If you're not a citizen, then it really isn't any of your business. Well, what's your business is where you came from.
Death to the police.
And I'm pretty sure that's just as bad as saying the bomb on an airplane. Dead gum. I mean, that's pretty bad.
This is some fucking, like, you know, some, like, random 19-year-old white kid, like, spamming this. Like, what are you doing? Like, God, I wish you could see these people. Oh, you can't.
He should be arrested immediately. I don't think something like that, while Asmongold's thinking, I don't think something like that's really covered. You know, that's like, you know, pretty bad threat against law enforcement.
Yep.
And we already know that these guys mean that, so. I mean, it's not like you're just saying that online, you're just nobody. These guys, you know, they're actively out here, like, destroying property, so.
This is the guy that's saying death to the police. It's always really funny to me whenever I see people, especially like women and like smaller guys like this, that are always like death to the police. The only reason why you're alive is because of the police. If it wasn't for the police, you'd be dead. Because somebody bigger than you and stronger than you would come and kill you.
Well, I don't
that's
really
what
agree
happens
with
every-
that. I don't really agree with that. I really just think that a society would be a little bit more chaotic. I don't think someone would just come and unalive you You know, just because the police aren't here, because with the Second Amendment and stuff, we have a means of defending ourselves. But what I think would happen is we'd have to defend ourselves a whole lot more often, and that's something that we don't really want to do.
Everywhere else in the world where there's no police. That's it. Like, yeah, you'd be naturally selected. It's just very, it's very funny for me to see them say this.
Subject to arrest. Again, you can peacefully protest on the west sidewalk. Do not interfere with these officers. Do not get in their way.
Abolish the police!
I guarantee you, by the way, if somebody started beating this guy up, he'd be immediately calling for the police.
Exactly. I was waiting for him to say that. Exactly. If somebody started beating that guy up, the police would be the first people that he goes to.
Calling for the police, trying to get them to make them stop.
Every cop dead is a victory for the resistance!
Sometimes it makes me think that Israel pays these people because they're just so pathetic and annoying that it almost makes you, like, it makes you against Palestine whenever you see, like, some random, like, 100-pound, like, you know, 5'6" white kid with a beanie on and a mask talking about death to the police. It's just embarrassing. It's completely fucking embarrassing that this is happening. And, yeah, his voice is cracking. It's pathetic. And, like, how is it that, like, you don't realize this?
Every IOF soldier killed is a victory against colonialism!
Oh, man. He's having a crash out? Yeah, I know. Oh, trying to take a moral high ground? It's embarrassing no matter who says it. Yeah. Like, you want to listen to that one again? Boy, he's talking about, like, killing soldiers and, like, having a war. Bro, like, it just... Of all the people that shouldn't want a war, he should be
It should be that guy.
Every cop dead is a victory for the resistance!
Yeah, you're literally a product of colonialism yourself. And this is the thing, is that whenever people like this get confronted with that reality, where, like, if you actually think that you're a product of colonialism and America's colonialist, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to virtue signal about how other people are bad because of it. Because these people never actually want to, you know, they're not going to relinquish their lands to Native American tribes. They're not going to, you know, donate money to them. They're not going to go back to, like, whatever country their European family probably immigrated from. They're just going to sit here and complain and talk about it.
Soldier killed is a victory against colonialism! Get a real job, dipshit!
Coming from a guy who probably doesn't even have a job. He's in college.
Oh my god. Oh, I love this.
Every IOF soldier killed is a victory against colonialism! Get a real job, dipshit!
Oh man. Fucking dumbasses. Yeah, that's so fucking funny to me. Oh god. Oh boy, oh boy. Yep, well, things are not going well for them. 30 were arrested after left-wing extremists took over a building. 30 of them got arrested. Yep, there you go. Well, there's at least $1 million of damage done. Well, pretty simple. Find out who did it and fine them for that amount of money. It's pretty, yeah, we need more convictions. Oh yeah, no, in my opinion, like, this is the way that Democrats have taken over a building. Boeing's a huge piece of the state of Washington's economy. Yeah. I don't know how. Like, I don't know how anybody puts up with this for even a second. I don't. It's pathetic. I know it is pathetic. Honestly, I think the police should just come in and immediately arrest.
You want to know what's even more pathetic? In New York, if somebody breaks into your house, you have duty to retreat. That's pathetic.
These people, post their identities, expel them from the school, convict them of some form of bullshit, and then put them in jail. Like, that would be it, right? Like, I mean, if it was up to me, that's what would happen. And if you did that, why? Because I think that they're destructive and violent. I'd be okay if they were just as a deterrent, right? Exactly. There should be a deterrent for this. I think this is the same one that we saw before, but I think this might just be it. Freedom to protest, though. You're not like, so whenever you're, so people, if you want to talk about the freedom to protest, you have to also talk about like the freedom of people to be able to, of movement, right? So like whenever you take a person and you make it to where like a person can't go somewhere in a public space, you are now taking away their freedom. And so also like, and by the way, like you have people that are like setting things on fire, like protesting, like the moment that like fire is not a form of protesting. So anytime I see a fire and there's a protest, that's
Yeah,
not
I'm
a
thinking
protest,
chaos.
That's a riot. That's it. And so, yeah, that's arson. Exactly. And fire is scary. And if you don't need to cover your face to protest. Well, I don't have a problem with people covering their face, right? That's not really a big deal to me. But yeah, unless it's tiki torches. Well, I mean, I think like if it's something small, right? It's like a lamp or something. It's not a big deal. But I'm clearly talking about like lighting big things on fire. Like I know you're trying to make like some like fucking reference to that Charlestown thing or whatever the fuck it was. But that's very clearly like, I mean, are you implying that I'm like a supporter of like some white supremacist group? What a ridiculous and stupid thing to say. It has nothing to do with what we're discussing. It's not related. I've never expressed any support to that at all. It's just total bullshit. And so anyway, I mean, don't be don't be confused. I know exactly what you're doing. The political blood sport. That's just about right.
Milan, a year ago, right now, you were praised by the media. You were championed by the left. Most people in general had a very positive view of you. And a year later...
No, not a year.
Changed? Yeah, it's changed a
Actually, you
little.
know what, guys? Thank you so much for watching. It's beer time. I gotta get some beer. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna live stream again. So if you're watching now, tune back in. I really appreciate you watching. Like the video. It pushes it out. And I'm gonna be right back. But I'm gonna end the stream. So thanks again for watching.